So, a couple days ago, Ubisoft revealed that one of their underlings, Massive Entertainment, along with Lucasfilm Games, is developing an open-world Star Wars game. And since I love Star Wars and gaming, especially open-world games, you bet your ass I'm excited. Now, Massive Entertainment is the creator of the Division games, which are also open-world. However, they aren't really remembered by many people, and to be honest, they weren't the greatest of games. This has led some people to be skeptical of how mediocre this game could turn out to be, but I have no time for that kind of negativity. I have high hopes for this project, and I want to see a truly spectacular game, and I know this studio has the potential to successfully pull this off, which is why today, instead of talking about the potential blunders that could happen, I'll be sharing 10 things that in my opinion, this game needs to do right in order to succeed. Naturally, it is just my own personal thoughts, and even if the game turns out to be nothing like what I'm imagining, it can still be great. So leave your own list of potential features down in the comments. Anyways, let's just get into the video. Now the first thing I want out of this game is a brand new time period. I don't want this game to have pretty much anything to do with any of the eras that we've already seen in the mainline movies, because it's been so heavily explored and it's still going to be explored far into the future. I just want this game to be new and exciting and explore a time period that feels fresh. They have so much non-canon content to take inspiration from, like the Legends comics, but they can even make a brand new story, as long as it either happens way before the prequels or way after the sequels. As long as there are no Skywalkers involved, then I'll be happy. This next one might be obvious, but I want a vast open world with multiple different planets for us to explore. Now this may be a given for an open world game, as it's one of the most important aspects, but honestly a lot of games fail in this department. I really hope we get to go to different planets, because it would allow for us to explore different settings, ecosystems, and cultures, since from what we've seen in Star Wars so far, the individual planets don't really have much variety in their environments, so a handful of different and vastly unique planets would be a joy to have in this game. It could be like how The Witcher 3 has a massive map that is split into smaller regions that not only provide new settings, but also allow the game to have a massive map without crashing or having loading screens all of the fucking time. I just want a lot of planets to explore. And related to that comes my next point, which is that I want space exploration and combat. Now it would be nice that with these multiple different planets, we wouldn't just fast travel between them with light speed or something, but actually have a spaceship of our own and fly to each of these planets. To make the game run all of this, you can separate the planets and space with loading screens so that your console only has to render one separate piece of the map at once. It's doable, it's been done before, and I think they should definitely do it, but they'd also have to do it right. Space needs to be filled with things for us to do, otherwise it's just a boring void of nothing. Have small asteroids or space stations where we can land to fuel up, meet new characters, and get side missions. Let there be fun and exciting space combat where we either fight small-scale dogfights against space pirates or law enforcers or something, but even the occasional big space battle, like the ones we've seen in the movies. Just make sure that if you include space travel, that you make it interesting, and I assure you, this game could be amazing. The next thing I want from this game is good and refined combat. Despite how much I love these games, I don't want a system like the Elder Scrolls where you just hack and slash enemies until they die. I want more depth in the combat. Something similar to Fallen Order would be nice, but even better than that, Ghost of Tsushima. The combat in this game is so fun. There's so much variety to it without getting overly complicated, and you can truly choose your own playstyle. I'd love for there to be a system like the stance system in Ghost of Tsushima, where you can switch your fighting style mid-fight to better defend against certain opponents. There are like 7 different forms of lightsaber combat in the Star Wars universe that each serve a different purpose, and although we probably can't learn all of them because that would be unrealistic, it would be nice if we could at least choose a couple and make our character the fighter we want them to be. Like if we're surrounded by enemies, we could switch to a more defensive Sorisu stance, but then switch to the aggressive Juyo stance when there are only a couple of enemies left. There are just endless possibilities for the combat in this game to be nuanced and entertaining, and I hope they make it one of their main focuses. However, apart from just the lightsaber combat, I would also appreciate some different weapons or gadgets. Again, kinda how in Ghost of Tsushima you have have your ghost weapons that provide extra support in various situations, yeah, that would be cool. Like a secondary blaster for ranged combat, or a grappling hook for parkour and agility, or bombs that have different effects depending on the bomb. There are a variety of Star Wars gadgets that we've seen people use in the movies for them to choose from, and it just gives the combat more life and refinement. Next, I would also like for a good deal of focus being placed on the story. Otherwise, good open worlds often suffer without a lack of emphasis and originality placed on the story and the missions, because although I want there to be a heath of different quests and side missions or even contracts for us to complete, I don't just want a bunch of people telling me to go fetch something for them or to kill 10 enemies in a certain area. Of course, these kinds of missions can still be present at times, but I also want original ideas within the story, with new and creative ways to tell the tale of whatever the plot of this game will be. Go get yourself some genuinely good story writers to help you with the campaigns. Heck, ask Lucasfilms for help. This is what they do. But yeah, I just want a badass story with fun things for me to do and the occasional moment that hits me right in the feels. Is that too much to ask for? Anyways, my next point is kinda related to the story, but I'd love for the option to choose different paths to go down as we play. Honestly, being able to choose between being a Jedi or a Sith would be enough, but to go even further beyond that and go down a more gray path, or as a bounty hunter, would be awesome. It can of course be later down the story, because otherwise I'd have to write multiple separate stories for the game, which is a lot. But as long as we get a little bit of choice as to who we become, then I'll be satisfied. Having different paths would even lead to the game having a lot of replayability, which is crucial for an open world game. This next one is pretty short and very personal, but please, let us play TvaC8uDjAG. One aspect of The Witcher 3 that all fans adore is Gwent, which is a small card game within the game that provides hours upon hours of extra gameplay. And even though I actively suck at Gwent, I would very much like a similar feature in this game. I mean, TvaC8uDjAG is basically poker, and we all know how addicting gambling can be, so why not let us throw away all our money in the game rather than in real life? I don't know. I just thought it could be a fun feature in the game. Now, going back to the beginning, since I'd like multiple different planets to explore, I'd naturally also want for Ubisoft to make the monsters and enemies that we encounter along the way unique. The Star Wars galaxy is home to a plethora of interesting, whack, and downright scary aliens and monsters, and if we don't get to interact and fight with at least a good handful of them, then I'll be very sad. There's so much lore to delve into within this universe that it's probably harder to not include a ton of monsters than it is to actually include them. However, I don't just want different looking enemies, I also want them to act differently from each other. Give them different fighting styles and patterns, where some of them we need to beat with skill and precision, but others we just have to be creative or have planned well for the fight. There's just so much potential to make the world that we'll be exploring absolutely breathtaking and jam-packed with things for us to do. Please, make my dreams a reality. Now, the final thing on my list for today is a sort of Witcher contract system. This is one of the coolest parts of Witcher 3, and it's such a perfect way for us to explore the world, level up, and meet these unique beasts when we want to take a break from the overarching story. It's a feature that would fit perfectly within an open world Star Wars game, and I really hope that they implement it. So yes, I basically want The Witcher 3 with a Star Wars theme, and the refinement of Ghost of Tsushima with the deep lore of the Elder Scrolls. I mean, that's pretty easy to do. That's not putting any pressure on massive entertainment. No, but for real, even though we know absolutely nothing about this game, I'm already extremely hyped for it, and I've probably already created unreachable standards inside my head that will most definitely lead to disappointment. But oh well, no matter what this game becomes, I'll play it, and I'll probably enjoy it a lot. And just because I personally want these 10 things in the game, doesn't mean that's the only way this game could be great, because there are many more aspects of game design that I just haven't taken into account. These were just my own personal thoughts on how the Ubisoft open world Star Wars game could be great. Again, leave your own opinions and hopes for this game down in the comments, and join my Discord if you haven't already. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then please do like and subscribe, it would mean the world. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day, stay safe, and peace out.